Without any hesitation, this old man gave flowers to this young boy. And he had heard about uh, Pagla Brahmin, mad Brahmin, lives in this Dakshineshwar temple, but he never was attracted to go and see him. He happened to read a magazine by name Sulabh Samachar, which was published by the Brahmo Samaj leader Kesab Chandra Sen. So when he read uh, in this magazine about Sri Ramakrishna, a God intoxicated man who talks to Mother Kali and worships such a great saint lives. So then he was attracted to go and see this uh, priest, Sri Ramakrishna. So he went to see him, and he was standing outside. A lot of people inside the room. So Sri Ramakrishna said, call all of them outside who are standing, call them inside. So there was nobody else when they called. Yogin entered inside, and Sri Ramakrishna asked, who are you? What's your name? He said, my name is Yogin. And he asked, what's your father's name? He said, Naveen Chandrai Chaudhary. Oh, I know your family. They all come to me. They are very religious, pious people. So Sri Ramakrishna told, you keep visiting this place. This was Yogin, and this is how he had met Sri Ramakrishna for the first time. Yogin was born on the 30th March 1861. As mentioned, his father was a pious Brahmin, always spent his time in worship of their deity, and a God-centered life he led. So, though they were very prosperous, but slowly over the time, the prosperity had come down. So, Naveen Chandra Rai Chaudhary, Yogin's father, felt now son is born, he will take the responsibility and he will earn. But this boy was also always thinking about God, not much worried about outside world, and also not very much interested in the academic education in the school. Always, as I said, he was inquiring about himself. Who am I? Where I have come? So, with this, they saw he is not going to take up any job and earn. So, they felt if we can send to his uncle place in Kanpur, where he can go and find a job for himself. So, they sent him to Kanpur. So, there his uncle saw this boy, rather than searching for job, he is again more interested in spending his time in meditation, thinking about Lord, reading about the religious books, Ramayana, Mahabharata, and other scriptures. So, though Yogin tried to get a job, somehow he could not get a job. That's what also happened with Narendranath Datta. So, anyway, he could not get a job, and he used his time for more and more meditation. Again, his uncle got little worried. What is this young boy? He's not trying to find a job. So then he informed his relatives, his sister at Dakshineshwar, he's not going to find a job. So you can do one thing. You arrange for his marriage. You find a bride. He will get married. Then he'll start working, lead a householder's life. So like that they planned. So how to convey this to Yogin? His uncle thought he will tell like this, your mother is not keeping well, go and see your mother. She is waiting for you to see you, she is yearning for you. So this boy, Yogin, had a very soft corner for his mother. He loved his mother like any other child. So he went to see his mother. There he sees his mother is all right and they are preparing for the marriage ceremony. And then his mother convinced him that now you are grown up, you should take a job and should get married and lead a householder life. You should marry. Then he said, no, I am not interested in marriage. I want to lead a God centered life. But mother cried and cried, no, you should get married. Your father has given word to the bride's father. And if you don't accept this proposal, what about the reputation of your father in the society? Anyway, yielding to mother's request, Jogin agreed. All right, you want me to get married? I'll get married. So the marriage ceremony took place and he got married. After the marriage, when he went to girls' home, there also he just had prasad, night food. He was walking on the terrace throughout the night. He never uh, entered the room where his wife was staying. He stayed alone again in meditation and all. So, like that, again he came back home. So, like this, he was still continuing to be more into his spiritual practices even after marriage. Again, his mother got worried. What is this? We got you married and you are not leading a householder's life. This is not right. Then Yogin said, no, I never wanted to marry. You are the one. You cried just to console you. I got married, but I never want to lead a married life. Oh, is it? I thought you were interested, and now you are saying you are not interested in marriage. So then Yogin realized all the human relations are so fragile. They don't stick to their words. आज एक बोलते हैं, कल एक बोलते हैं. मन मुख एक कोरा. Established soul always stays back, sticks to his words. Whatever he speaks, he brings it in action. That is one of the great character of a Mahapurush. So ordinary people fail to keep up the words what they speak. So same thing happened with his mother also, to whom Yogin had very high respect. He said, oh, this is the thing. So now onwards, I'll not pay much attention to these things. Like this, days were going on. Here, Sri Ramakrishna was surprised because already has come to know they have forced him to marry, though he never wanted to marry. And now he is feeling ashamed that he is not able to come and spend time in Dakshineshwar temple with Sri Ramakrishna talking about God and God-centered life. So now I am a householder. How can I go and visit? This mind, what Yogin was thinking, Sri Ramakrishna had already known. So he sent a message. Sri Ramakrishna is eagerly waiting to see Yogin. Yogin should go and visit Dakshineshwar temple. Even after repeated messages, Yogin never went to see Sri Ramakrishna. So then Sri Ramakrishna hit upon a plan. So when Yogin used to visit Sri Ramakrishna before marriage, he had given some money to Yogin to purchase some articles from the temple's management. And there were some 4 annas which were remaining that has to be returned. So he sent a message, Sri Ramakrishna, tell Yogin to come and meet me regarding that money account which has to be settled. So Yogin was ashamed. अच्छा, आप अपना पैसे के लिए पूछ रहे हैं, ठीक है, मैं आके आपका 4 आना ऐसे फेंक क्या होगा. With that temperament, with that anguish, Yogin went to Dakshineshwar temple. There he sees Sri Ramakrishna is in ecstasy, God intoxicated personality, and he's dancing, taking the name of the Lord in ecstasy. So when Yogin enters, he was so happy. Oh, you have come, come. So take the name of the Lord. Let us sing the glory. And Yogin was very much moved to see Sri Ramakrishna in that God intoxication. भगवान नाम संकीर्तन में, भजनानंद में उन्मत्त होके अपने आप को बाहरी का होश ही नहीं, उसको खो के भजनानंद में उस उन्मत्त अवस्था में देख के योगेन was very much moved. So that was the incident where again Sri Ramakrishna attracted his young disciple Yogin, and like this uh, Yogin's training in the company of Sri Ramakrishna started. As we know, Sri Ramakrishna had various ways of training his disciples. He was a great teacher. He taught his disciples, the monastic disciples and the householder devotees, through his life and message. As we said, a saintly person is one whose words, thoughts, action are one and the same. Man muk ek kora. Whatever they speak, they live in their life. So Sri Ramakrishna was very much established in the highest truths. The important teaching, what we see throughout the gospel of Sri Ramakrishna is to attain God, one should renounce the world. One should renounce Kamini Kanchan Tyag, the gold and the lucre, what they say in English language. So all the desires which bind us in this world are through our attraction towards the worldly things or the opposite sex. One has to be free from this Kam Kanchan. Then only he'll become a fit candidate to attain God. So this was very much manifested in the life of Sri Ramakrishna in everyday action. So through this, he used to train his disciples. So Yogin was very much attracted and impressed by Sri Ramakrishna's way of living. So Sri Ramakrishna had various ways of teaching his disciples, and we also come to know that Yogin always led a God-centered life right from his childhood, and as he grew, his devotion towards the Lord increased, and always he wants to live in solitude and live in japam, meditation, and studying the scriptures. That was his routine. And slow also, he used to sleep very less in the night. He was a light sleeper. So when Yogin was living with Sri Ramakrishna in Dakshineshwar temple, one day suddenly a thought came in his mind. Sri Ramakrishna, whom he has accepted as his guru, is he really living the principles what he teaches day and night? Day he has seen, night also he wanted to see. That curiosity came in his mind. So one day, as Yogin was a light sleeper, woke up and sees Sri Ramakrishna is not there in the room where he was sleeping with him. So he tries to find out where he has gone. He comes out and sees the water pot is there in its place. He has not gone to washroom. So then he felt maybe he has gone to spend the night with his wife in the Nahabat, which is next to Sri Ramakrishna's room there. So there he went and stood outside the Nahabat. After some time, he heard the sound. Somebody is coming from the Panchavati, where Sri Ramakrishna used to go and meditate. So he is walking from that side, and now suddenly Yogin sees he is not there in the Nahabat with his wife. He is coming from Panchavati after his sadhana, meditation. He was a little ashamed. But Sri Ramakrishna already knew what's happening in his mind. Oh, what are you doing? Come. So together they entered the room and they slept. So, like that, we also saw Naren testing Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna never touched money, coin. So one day, what he did, Naren, when Sri Ramakrishna is outside his court, for some work he has gone. So that time he put a small coin below the bed sheet. And when Sri Ramakrishna comes and sits on the court, suddenly he jumps as if some scorpion is biting him. That's such terrible pain. He could not touch the coin. So then Naren said, I had done this. So Naren also tested Sri Ramakrishna before accepting him as Guru. So how Yogin also tested Sri Ramakrishna, and after that he completely accepted as his Guru. So like this, Sri Ramakrishna's training we'll see now. In the name of spiritual practices, one becomes very soft-hearted, kind-hearted. So how it also happened in Yogin's life. What happened? One day, Sri Ramakrishna sent Yogin to purchase some iron pan to cooking, some cooking vessel. So Yogin went and purchased that vessel and brought. When he brought, it is seen that it is having a small hole. It is not properly working. Sri Ramakrishna asked, Hey Yogin, what is this? You have brought a pan which has a hole. What is this? Oh, sorry, I did not see. I thought he is a devotee. He will not cheat us. So I simply paid whatever money he asked and I brought. Then Sri Ramakrishna teaches. Whenever you go to market, don't think that he is a devotee. He is a businessman there. So you have to know the prices. Enquire 2-3 people. Bargain the lowest price and also see the quality of the material that you are purchasing. So like that, Sri Ramakrishna used to teach his disciples how to perform day-to-day activities, though he remained always in ecstasy, in God intoxication. That was a unique way how Sri Ramakrishna trained his disciples. When Sri Ramakrishna was in Dakshineshwar temple, after the puja is done, a portion of the prasad used to come to his room. One day, the prasad did not come to his room. Then he said, Yogin, go and see why the prasad has not come. He was little curious, asked twice or thrice. Yogin was little surprised. He is always in the ecstasy, divine ecstasy. How come he's remembering that prasad? Oh, he is also like any other priest, always thinking about the prasad and getting it for themselves. Like that, that question came. Then Sri Ramakrishna immediately says, See Yogin, Rani Rasmani, who has built this temple and kept the money for the divine worship, and that prasad should be used for the service of the devotees and saintly persons. So, if this prasad is not taken by the devotees and the saintly persons, the purpose with which Rani Rasmani had kept the money will be defeated. So, Sri Ramakrishna teaches Yogin to respect the devotees' services, and those services should be properly used by the devotees and the saintly people. One day, Sri Ramakrishna sends Yogin to meet Girish Ghosh. to get some candles. So there he goes, he sees Girish Chandra and says, Master has sent me to get some candles. Girish Chandra said, why one? Take 10, 15, whatever the number you want. And he saw Girish goes, as we know, he did not lead a very pure life. He used to be a drunkard and all. And seeing these qualities, Yogin comes and asks, oh, you sent me there, he's not a good man. He said, no, you have not seen the other side. His devotion, his faith is immense. So always try to see the good side of the person also. Don't focus on the just negative side of a person. One day, Sri Ramakrishna had a desire to eat that polo pudding, a sweet dish prepared in Bengal. He said, go and get that polo pudding from that shop. Yogin heard it and said, okay, I'll get him the best from a devotee's house. So he went all the way to Balram Basu's house and told the women devotees that Sri Ramakrishna, my master, wants to have that polo pudding. So they all prepared with milk and all this, and it took time. So by the time he returned back, it was evening. So Sri Ramakrishna wanted to eat that sweet dish in the afternoon. By the time Yogin brought, it was evening. Then he asked, why so late? He said, I thought I should get it from devotee's house. And I went there, it took time to prepare and all. So I am late. So then he asked, what did I tell you? I told you to purchase the sweet dish from that particular shop in that bazaar, not from a devotee's house. So he instructed, always follow the words of your guru as instructed. Don't do otherwise using your own brain. Otherwise, you will go into a great loss in the spiritual practices. Then onwards, Yogin never disobeyed or differed from the things whatever he was asked to do by Sri Ramakrishna. As we know, Sri Ramakrishna has 6 Ishwar Kotis who belong to his own. So Yogin was one among the 6 Ishwara Kotis. His inner circle. Yogin belonged to his inner circle. In the Kashipur garden, we know Sri Ramakrishna had throat cancer before he passed away. His disciples were serving him. And one day, Swami Dayadhipanandaji, Buddha Gopal, got some 12 ochre cloths and 12 rosaries. Yogin also received the ochre cloth and the rosary from Sri Ramakrishna in Kashipur garden house before Sri Ramakrishna passed away on 16th August 1886. After the passing away of Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, after few weeks, went on a pilgrimage. Holy Mother, Sri Sharada Devi, had some female devotees with her during this pilgrimage, and also Yogin was one among the devotees who accompanied Holy Mother during this pilgrimage. So they started their pilgrimage from Kolkata. First they went to Devgar, then from there to Varanasi, Ayodhya, then Brindavan. And in Brindavan, important incident happened. Holy Mother, when she was there in Brindavan, she had a vision where Sri Ramakrishna appears and tells, you initiate Yogin with this mantra. He also told the mantra. Holy Mother felt maybe it's some hallucinations in neglect. Again, Sri Ramakrishna appeared and told, give Yogin this mantra. Like that thrice. After that, Holy Mother decides to initiate Yogin, but asks, I have never spoken to him. You know, Holy Mother was very much shy. She never talked to anybody, especially males. She was always surrounded by her female devotees. And when she asked Sri Ramakrishna said, uh, let Yogin Ma be with you when you give Mantra Diksha to Yogin. So thus, obeying the order of Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother initiates Yogin into Mantra Diksha at Brindavan. So thus, Yogin was the uh, first disciple to be initiated by Holy Mother. We know Holy Mother stayed almost for a year in Brindavan, and always she was in spiritual mood, immersed with God. भगवान के साथ तादात्म्य होके एक रूप में रहना. Holy Mother Sri Sharada Devi became so one with Sri Ramakrishna that she was looking like Sri Ramakrishna. Yogin writes this. When he approached and saw, he used to look at Sri Sharada Devi and she used to appear as if his own Gurudev, Sri Ramakrishna, and the way she talks and the teachings were very much similar to what Sri Ramakrishna used to teach. So, श्री रामकृष्ण के साथ एक तादात्म्य भाव से साधना में रहते थे मां शारदा देवी वृंदावन में. After spending a year in Vrindavan, Jogin went by train to Haridwar along with Holy Mother and the party. They stayed in Haridwar, visited Chandi Devi and other important places in Haridwar, and then from there they went to Jaipur. So, during their journey from Haridwar to Jaipur in the train, Yogin had severe fever and suddenly he felt as if somebody is appearing and telling, pointing to Yogin, go and offer Rasagulla to that deity. So same Ma Shitala, when they visited in Jaipur, there Yogin offered Rasagulla, and after that he became all right. After Jaipur, they visited Prayag, and from Prayag they reached Kolkata. Holy Mother stayed at Balram house for a couple of weeks and then left to Kamarpukur with Jogin and Golapma. After that, Yogin returned to Baranagar monastery. After the passing away of Sri Ramakrishna, the young boys who had renounced everything to lead a monastic life as taught by Sri Ramakrishna were living in Baranagar monastery. So Yogin also joined the other direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna in the Baranagar monastery. There, the other disciples had taken the monastic vows. He also took the monastic vows and he was given the name as Swami Yogananda. So, Yogin Rai Chaudhary, pre-monastic name, and Swami Yogananda is the monastic name. As we know, he was married and he had a little worry about his wife. So, his father-in-law, Madhusudan, he was also very pious man. He took care of his daughter and she used to serve her father in his spiritual practices. Our monks from the Baranagar monastery also used to help Madhusudan and her daughter for their day-to-day needs. In Baranagar monastery, as we know, the young boys spent most of their time in sadhana, in reading the scriptures, not only our Hindu scriptures, but also the other philosophies, the teachings of Jesus Christ, the Bible, especially the imitation of Christ. So, there we see in the teachings of Christ, which they used to discuss, the disciples discuss among themselves, love one another. That the highest teaching of Christ. So, to realize that one sentence is equivalent to studying the whole Bible, said Yogananda, love personified. So, if we lead a spiritual life, practice the spiritual practices, we should be able to experience loving all, becoming one with all, not finding faults with anybody, being established in our real nature, which is Sat Chit Ananda, that which is always existing, never changing, that entity we are, Sat Chit. Because of that, everything exists, and that we are existence. And the nature of that is Ananda, bliss, which is beyond the sorrows and the happiness of this world. One who is established in Satchit Ananda alone can reach that state of loving all. So, in the monastery, as we know, right from his childhood, he used to love to be in solitude and practice more and japam and meditation. That continued. His intense practices, spiritual practices continued. So, slowly, his health also started deteriorating. And he also had that sense of humor. At the same time, he was a very serious monk by nature with burning renunciation. At the same time, he had a sense of humor. As we know, as a monk, it is a tradition to go and beg for the bhiksha. So one day, Yogin, went from the monastery to beg the bhiksha. So he goes for bhiksha. One household mother, she is brooming the house with a broomstick and sees this young boy. What? You are so young. You are strong. You are not ashamed. You are begging your food. Why don't you earn your food? Like that, making that face, and she just simply threw over the broomstick and went inside. So Yogananda came back and enacted. उसको करके दिखाया सभी को. आज गए थे हम भिक्षा के लिए, आज ऐसा हुआ. Exactly the way that female acted, that he enacted, and everybody laughed in the monastery. So with a serious personality, he had also that sense of humor. In November 1888, Yogananda went to Puri with Holy Mother and stayed there for 3 months. Then in February 1889, he went to Kamarpukur with Holy Mother. She stayed there for a year. During that time, Yogananda left on a pilgrimage and visited Devagad, Gaya, Prayagraj, Chitrakoot, and Omkarnath. After returning to Prayag, Yoganand fell ill with chickenpox. When this news reached Baranagar monastery, Vivekananda and some other disciples rushed to Prayag and took care of Yogananda until he recovered. Around this period, there was a crucial incident which took place in Yoganandaji's life, which was later narrated by Swami Shivananda. Swami Yoganandaji was traveling in a train. So there, a young lady who entered that cabin, somehow she was attracted looking at the great personality of Yogananda, and she was forcing Yoganand to get her married. As you know, he never had that intention. He declined, but she did not agree. She was making shouting and creating nuisance. Somehow she became unconscious, and next station he got out of that train bogie, and there he recalls Sri Ramakrishna always protected his disciples. In 1891, Yogananda went to Varanasi, where he lived in a small cottage in a solitary garden. He spent most of his time in meditation. Daily, once he'll go for food, beg, and come back and stay in the small kutia into spiritual practices, led a very austere life. One day it so happened, some spirit wanted to enter him. Suddenly, Yogananda said, Jai Sri Ramakrishna. Listening to this, that spirit ran away and said, I'll never again disturb you. As we know, the place where Yoganandaji Maharaj was staying was a haunted place. Their spirits might have lived. And when he took the name of Sri Ramakrishna, that spirit went away and it never came back. Holy Mother Sri Sharada Devi was of very shying nature. Always she covered her face with the veil and surrounded by female devotees. Only few monastics, direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna has a close contact with Sri Sharada Devi. That was Swami Yogananda, was one among the four monastic disciples of the master who had free access with Holy Mother. Because Yogananda was pure like the ever free Shukadeva, the master engaged him to do errands for Holy Mother. Yogin and Sharat belong to the inner circle, said Holy Mother. So, like this, after the passing away of Sri Ramakrishna, Yogin Swami Yogananda served Holy Mother and lived a very austere life, taking part in pilgrimages and spending a solitude life in austerity. So, with this, his body became little weak and he started to fall sick. From 1895 to 1897, Yogananda arranged the birth anniversary festival of Sri Ramakrishna on large scale at Dakshineshwar. In 1898, he organized a similar celebration at Dan's temple complex at Belur. At that time, the name of Sri Ramakrishna was not that famous, but Yoganandaji's personality was so appealing, he could attract so many young devotees to celebrate Sri Ramakrishna's birthday. And when Swamiji returned from the West in 1897, there also Swami Yogananda actively participated in organizing the reception for Swamiji and created a sensation all over Calcutta. On May 1st, 1897, Vivekananda inaugurated the Ramakrishna mission at Balram's house in Calcutta. He made Brahmananda the president and Yogananda the vice president of the order. When the meeting was over, Yoganandaji said, So the work has now begun in this way. Let us see how it succeeds by the will of Sri Ramakrishna. Yogananda asking Swami Vivekananda, it's very interesting. You are doing these things by Western methods. Would you say that Sri Ramakrishna left us any such instructions? Swamiji, how do you know that these methods are not in keeping with his ideals? Sri Ramakrishna was the embodiment of infinite ideas. Do you want to confine him within your own limits? I shall break those limits and scatter his ideas broadcast all over the world. He never instructed me to introduce worship of him and so forth. The methods of spiritual practice, concentration and meditation and the other higher ideals of religion that he taught, those we must realize and teach to all human beings. Infinite are the ideas and the infinite are the paths that lead to God. I was not born to create a new sect in this world. Too full of sects already. Blessed are we that we have found refuge at the feet of our Master. It's our duty to give the ideas entrusted to us freely to the whole world. Yogananda did not dissent and Swamiji continued. Time and again I have received marks of his grace. He himself is at my back and he is making me to do all these things. Yogananda, whatever you will shall come about. We are always ready to follow your lead. I see clearly that the Master is working through you. Still, I confess, doubts do sometimes arise in my mind. For as we saw it, his method of doing things was so different. I am led to ask myself whether we are not staying from Sri Ramakrishna's teachings. Swamiji. The thing is this, Sri Ramakrishna is greater than his disciples understand him to be. He is the embodiment of infinite spiritual ideas, capable of development in infinite ways. Even, in, even if one can find a limit to the knowledge of Brahman, one cannot measure the unfathomable depths of the Master's mind. One gracious glance of his eyes can create 100,000 Vivekanandas at an instant. But if this time he chose instead to work through me, making me his instrument, I can only bow down to his will. Yogananda was deeply moved and praised Swamiji's greatness. So these were the conversation between Swami Yoganandaji and Swamiji. So again, over the time, Swami Yoganandaji's health broke down. Swamiji himself took Yoganandaji to Darjeeling and Almora to Himalaya so that change of weather will help to improve his health. After his health deteriorated, then Swami Yogananda made Brahmachari Krishnala, later Swami Dhirananda, to be attendant of Holy Mother. So once Shardananda said to Yogananda, brother, I do stand, he takes. He makes so much of it that the others pale into insignificance. Telling about Swami Vivekananda, when he differed with ideas, he said, sometimes I'm confused whether to follow him or not. Then Yogananda said to Shardananda, I tell you one thing, cling to Holy Mother. Whatever she says, that is right. Yogananda then took Shardananda to Holy Mother, and gradually the latter became the attendant of Holy Mother, remaining so for around 21 years after Yoganandaji passed away. So after Yoganandaji passed away, we know Swami Shardanandaji Maharaj, the General Secretary of the Order, took care of Holy Mother. Yoganandaji led the ideal life, a pure life, as taught by Sri Ramakrishna. He did not go into much lecture and other spectacular work. Silently, he lived a life, served Holy Mother, and by his life, he always reflected the spiritual teachings taught by Sri Ramakrishna. So, during his last days, when he was ill, Sri Ramakrishna gave vision and he said, my master, please give me liberation, nirvana. I don't want to come again. This should be my final birth. Sri Ramakrishna did not agree. He said, no, you will have to come again with me to work with me. So then he disappeared. Swami Yoganandaji was in this thought. For 6 months he was living like that. Then finally his brother disciples said, why you are so sticking to your ideas? Just surrender yourself to Sri Ramakrishna. Let his will be done. So like that, finally he surrenders to Sri Ramakrishna. Okay, let your will be done. Swami Yogananda passed away on the 28th March 1899. Before passing away, he said to Holy Mother, Mother, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and Sri Ramakrishna have come to take me. So, like that, he passed away silently. And Yoganandaji was asked by Swami Vivekananda, Yogin, do you remember the master just one night before he passed away? Shivanandaji, Mahapurush Maharaj asked Yoganandaji. That time Yoganandaji replied, yes, I remember the master more, even more, much more. So like that, always he lived with God and became one with God. So such was the pure life of Swami Yoganandaji Maharaj. On this auspicious day, let us remember those ideals for all the devotees of God to follow, practice, and realize and make our life a blessed one. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.